Right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content on info@millenniumnews24.com. Download the Millennium News 24 app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Stay tuned with Millennium TV and Millennium News 24 for the latest updates.
Listen. First of all, thank you all for joining us. If you heard bits and pieces of our conversation, I'll shed a little light on that in a second. But thank you to everyone who is joining us on this glorious Sunday. Millennium News 24 comment section. I'm still Shirley Phillips III. Nothing has changed. I'm extra excited. I was excited yesterday, but I'm really, really excited today because Ohio State is done. They're done. Okay. And yes, applause. And I wouldn't be this petty normally. I was actually going to come to make peace with them because they were so gracious that, their coach and whatnot, when they beat Michigan finally after 5 years, they were very gracious, but the people around me were not. So I was coming to make peace. I put on a red lip for them. And then you know what? I said, no, we still don't like them. We still don't like them. They talk stuff about us. They whine, they complain. So good for you. Congratulations to the Hoosiers. I've never rooted for the Hoosiers, but listen, thank you for vindicating us. And Ohio, we will see you next year. Okay, when you lose. Thank you. The Detroit Lions. I'm sorry, you guys. I have to shout out the Detroit Lions, who have become a brand. They're not just an NFL team anymore. We have restaurants all over the United States that have dedicated themselves to Detroit Lions fans. They had an incredible win against the Cowboys this week. We weren't really anticipating that, but they did their thing. And let's just keep them in our prayers. If they get to the Super Bowl, I will be happy with that because they've come a long way. But thank you guys. We appreciate you. But back to business. Again, I am Shirley Phillips III. This is Millennium News 24, the comment section. And the guest that I have today, first of all, shout out to her. I'm looking at the eyebrows. Eyebrows are on point. Okay.
Thank you.
This is one of my friends. We joke and we call each other sister wives because we used to think that we were going to marry Bobby Brown. And neither one of us was willing to concede. So we just agreed that we would share him in our fantasy world. He was our husband in high school. This is Bobby Brown, like every little step Bobby Brown, not like Whitney Houston Bobby Brown. This was when he was Bobby, So we were sister wives, and we still refer to ourselves as sister wives. He is Darnita D. Samuels. She is a licensed therapist. She's got a lot of letters behind her name. Do I call you doctor or what do I do?
Girl.
Doc.
No, I'm not a doctor. So just call me Darnita. That's it.
Darnita.
Yeah.
Okay. She's a doctor to me because she got a whole lot of letters behind her name. So that means she knows what she's talking about. And I've actually seen her evolution as not just a Black woman, but as a Christian Black woman, as a friend. And what we're talking about today is the necessity, talking about how imperative it is for us to preserve positive personal relationships that have worked for us. Whether it's a friend, whether it's a husband, a coworker, just a boyfriend / girlfriend. If that relationship has been working for you and it served you at some point, don't just cancel. We want to get out of this cancel culture. And so I wanted her to talk to us, one, about her book. She has an amazing book that she has written. I'm going to let her tell you exactly about that later on. But the title of the book is The In Between. And I know it's available on Amazon.com. She'll tell you wherever else you can get it. But it's about combining, I'll let you say. I was going to say combining religion, but I don't want to throw anybody off. But it does focus on prayer and what to do while you're waiting on what it is you have asked for. So without any further ado, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let Miss Darnita D. Samuel / my sister wife / my cast tech homegirl from that.
Yes.
How are you, beloved?
Green and white, okay?
Green and white, that's me too. What's up?
Hey, friend, it's been so long since I've seen you, so it's amazing to see your face. Um, Thank you for this opportunity. You know, when you reached out, I was like, oh, standing in my kitchen, like, well, I guess I'm wondering what I'm going to be doing, and then boom, here you go. And I was like, oh, look at God, he got a plan. All right, thank you. Um, but yes, thank you for this opportunity to come talk to you about relationships, navigating relationships and things like that. But then also, how it kind of ties into my book as well.
Yes.
Definitely appreciate this opportunity, and also hope to connect and hopefully help someone who is in your audience.
We have a lot of people. I was telling, excuse me, some of my close friends what I was doing, and they have a couple of questions they threw at me early this morning they're simple questions. So it's nothing that you wouldn't be prepared to answer. But what I wanted to know is, I knew you were doing therapy. I know you didn't start out doing this when you graduated college.
Girl, no. No.
You know I'm old. I can't remember. What did you start out doing? Because I know it was a long time ago, but it wasn't this.
So I kind of bumped around for college, right? So I went to I went to Lawrence Tech, transferred to another school, and then came back home to Wayne State. And I finished finally with a degree in public relations. But I was working at a local healthcare company, remember?
Yes.
And so I kind of navigated that. And during that time, I was just like, okay, well, I need to do something else. I've always been like kind of if I get bored, I'll go back to school, right? So I went back to school with two of my friends for our first master's. And that was a human resource management. Well, if you know anything about human resource management, it's like, everything has to align in the right space in order for you to get a job in human resources. I did not, because they were saying, yes, you have the degree. No, you don't have the experience. And I'm like, well, if you're not going to give me a position or let me, work in a position, I won't get the experience. So there goes the cycle. So instead of human resources, I went into leadership roles and things like that. Now, the catalyst for me becoming a licensed marriage and family therapist is when I relocated to North Carolina.
Yeah.
As you know, I was in a very committed relationship, getting married and things like that, right? Well, when that relationship ended, that is when Dr. Jekyll came out of the other person that I was with. And it spiraled my life out of control.
Yeah.
And I thank God for my primary care physician, Dr. Robert Sanders in Greensboro, North Carolina. She and her staff, they actually saw me. And when I say saw me, I always present as like, hey, how you doing? And everything else, the life of the party. I'm a social chameleon, right? But
Cancers are Cancer. That's her zodiac sign. That shell.
And I don't want to hear nothing else from anybody. I don't want to hear nothing. Okay. Because we're wonderful people. So I just want people to know we're wonderful. Okay.
Yes, you are.
So when I went into the office, they saw me, and immediately her assistant was like, oh no, we got to get Dr. Sanders in here. Dr. Sanders, yes, she saw me, and I'm sitting over there thinking like everything is fine. I'm presenting like I normally do, and everything.
You just sense in your spirit that something was off.
Yes, because they took time to get to know me, not just as a patient, but as a woman.
Got
right?
Got it.
And so when she came into my office and into the room that I was in, because they actually took me from the waiting room and put me in the back of the office, and I'm sitting there thinking like, what is going on here? I ain't never been in the back. I usually have one room. I was like, where's my room? You're not taking me to my room. They were like, well, your room is occupied right now, so we got to take you to another room. And I'm sitting over there thinking like, these people are nuts, right? And so when she walked in, she was like, I literally cleared all of my appointments today because you need me.
Oh.
That was the first time that one of my physicians was like, no, we're not leaving. I don't care about a clock. I don't care about rhythm and tact. I don't care. You're not leaving to this office until you tell me what is happening.
What's going on? What made them know though? Were you crying?
No, that's what I said. She said it was a way that you came in that nobody is used to, because literally you came in. They said you came in, because I said, well, what did y'all, in the middle of tears? I was like, what did I? They was like, Darnita, it was just the way you came into this office. Usually it's like all this rays of sunshine.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was heavy and death that felt like it was coming into the office. And she was like, and I had to figure out what was happening. That's why I went to get Dr. Sanders. And then Dr. Sanders started talking. She came into the room. She was like, this is not it. What is going on?
That's not it. Wow. That's a blessing, though, to have professionals know you like that. That's awesome.
Exactly. And that's why I always make sure from that moment on, like I had previously when I lived at home in Detroit, My OBGYN, Dr. Coleman, she was amazing.
Yeah.
I was always looking for her in wherever I went after that. And I've had 3 doctors so far. Dr. Andy Coleman in Detroit, Dr. Robin Sanders in Greensboro, and Dr. Leah Pender, who used to be in Charlotte. Those were my doctors. And those women were so in tune with their patients, and me in particular, that I could not, nothing slid by. If I was having a moment of depression, they would be like, wait a minute, what's going on? Let's talk. Right?
And I love that they were women.
Exactly. And that goes, and that ties into the community that we have to have. We're talking about these relationships, right? So as that day, she actually told me, she was like, I'm not letting you go home like this. First of all, you can't drive home. So I'm going to take you to my therapist. And I was like, and that was like when the record scratch stopped. I was like, wait a minute, you go to a therapist? She was like, girl, I can't be a doctor, a married woman, a mother, and everything else without having my person. She's like, my therapist is my person.
That's right.
And I was like,
nutritionist, OBGYN. And, you know, a lot of people, not to cut you off, but a lot of people associate therapy with mental illness, and that is not the case. Your brain is an organ. It needs to be tended to just like your heart, your kidneys, everything else. And it's the most important organ next to your heart. If your brain is not working properly, ain't nothing working.
And it's not. And that's the thing, is so many people don't understand. Because I've even had my parents ask me, hey, does it work? And I'm like, you know, it's like, well, when you sit over here, you tell me all these things that have happened and everything else. And I'm like, I start asking these questions. You tell me if it worked. Okay?
You tell me.
Exactly. So I get all that. And even especially being a Black woman who's a therapist, and immediately when I say people will tell people I'm a therapist, right? They think that I'm a physical therapist or occupational therapist.
Okay.
And I'm like, no, I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. They're like,
okay.
And I'm like, yeah.
And that was the other question. People wanted to know what was the difference between a therapist and like a psychiatrist.
Okay. So a psychiatrist really they can prescribe. I cannot. Okay. So they have so many more school classes. They go to med school and everything else. I don't do that. And they usually do like medication management and different things like that. Sometimes I have seen them like get into the realm of therapy, but mostly it's medicine. So whether they're prescribing and seeing how it goes, they're doing initial assessment to see which ones they would recommend for you to try, things like that. And so that's the basic difference between a therapist and a psychiatrist.
Okay. So basically your personal experience and the care and the attention that you got from your own providers made you want to enter that particular realm of therapy. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I guess my next question is, do you feel like it's just something that you were destined to do, or is this just something that you just enjoy doing? Do you feel like this is your divine calling to do this, and maybe that relationship was sent to you to put you in this direction, or do you just, it's just something I enjoy doing, or do you think this is your God ordained?
Oh, no. It's all of the above. And I will tell you that relationship was sent to humiliate and humble me.
Okay.
Because although again, I present as very nice, I'm snarky, I'm sarcastic, right? Yeah. But I was also so judgmental that I just be like, oh, what you doing? Da, 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 right? Okay. So in therapy, you can't be judgmental. Because
I never saw that part of you. I didn't see you as being judgmental.
Oh, that's because, girl, when we was at CAS, I was a shy wallflower, girl. I barely talked to people. I mean, I talked to people I knew. You know what I'm saying? And because we had 5,000 students and almost 800 people in our class. Hello. Yeah. You know, I wasn't that social butterfly then. I was sitting there like clutch the pearls. Who was talking to me?
Right? Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I see that.
You see what I'm saying? So after, I'll say like in my mid-20s, early 30s is when, I bloomed per se, right? Okay. And so, so people in high school, when they see me now, they'll be like, who are you? Right. You know what I'm saying? Because like, you used to be so quiet. And I'm like, I really wasn't, I wasn't quiet. I was quiet then, but I also had a mouth, right? It's just like, you had to press me to a point where I just be like, I was cut your jugular, okay?
We still from Detroit. Like that, don't get it twisted. We hate to go there.
Right. Okay.
But listen, if we have to, we will.
I would tell them because I tell people sometimes, and I, because Claire Huxtable is one of my sheroes, okay? Because I love how Claire could go off on somebody real quick and not even, she just be smiling. And so I have modeled my going off like that, right? But if somebody pressed me out, I'm like, don't let the smooth taste fool you. Detroit will pop out. And you don't want her to pop out.
It's intrinsic.
You get what I'm saying? Otherwise, people gotta know. However, going back to
she's a Cancer. I'm not saying that as a diss. She's a Cancer. I am a Pisces, and our third cohort is the Scorpio. We are the water signs, and we're very kind. We'll give you the shirt off our backs. We will help anybody. We got $1, you got 50 cents if we love you and we trust you. The issue is we're like that until we're not, and it takes a lot for us to get pushed. And the water signs are the worst. Water can transform. It can be ice cold. It can be steamy and hot, and it can be smooth. It can be wavy. You get it how you live, okay? And then you sprinkle that with a little bit of Detroit on there, baby.
See what I'm saying?
Watch how you talk to us.
I will say this: I've gotten a lot better with my boundaries. So that great span of no, it doesn't exist anymore. Once you show me who you are, I believe you, and I will leave you there with myself.
And leave them there. I love that. What she's saying, guys, is you really don't have to say much. People will tell you who they are, what they need from you, how they are, that spirit, and being able to discern that spirit. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get into how you understand what someone's spirit is telling you, when you know that you need or you may need to seek therapy, and how to determine if a relationship is something that you even want to be bothered with trying to save. Because not all relationships are meant to be salvaged. So we are going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the comment section.
Do you often feel like the issues that are featured on network TV don't interest you, don't affect you? Do you feel like the arts and cultural events that are featured don't really interest you? Do you generally feel like your voice goes unheard? If you answered yes to any of those questions, Millennium News 24 is here to help you. I'm Shirley Phillips, and I'm the host of The Comment Section, a new show on Millennium News 24, airing on Sundays, and we are airing on all streaming media. Millennium News TV 24.com, Millennium News 24.com, Apple TV, Roku TV, Fire TV, Horizon Satellite, and drum roll please, all smart TVs. So there's no excuse for you not to catch up with us. We hope to see you on Sundays on Millennium News 24.
Okay, we are back. I hope. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can. Thank God. Okay, so again, we are here on the comment section with Ms. Darnita Samuels, licensed therapist, author of the book The In Between, which is a practical guide, faith-based, on how to determine or basically what to do when you are in the process of waiting for a relationship to mend or waiting to find a relationship. What do I do in the meantime? And so before I break, what I said was, how do you even know when a relationship is something that you want or something that you even want to try to preserve? What are the white flags, I like to call them?
Well, if you're invested, all right, if you find yourself wanting to make it better, make yourself better, right?
Okay.
Because if you see yourself, a relationship will always expose all of your insecurities, your fears, anxieties, and things like that. So if you're seeing something, and this is any relationship, this is a family relationship, a friend relationship, a love relationship, even at work, and a religious relationship, they will always expose everything. So it doesn't mean you're this broken, damaged person. It just means that there are certain things that you have to work on because you may have been conditioned in early childhood or through experiences that have taught you a way that is not necessarily healthy.
Okay.
So these are relationships. If you're feeling like, okay, well, I keep doing the same thing and I want to stop, go to see, you talk to somebody about it. If
Okay.
you're like, I am fearful or I feel like I sabotage my relationships, meaning I don't have any long-term relationships, they're good, and then all of a sudden I get mad and then I'm just done.
Cancel.
Go see them, right? But then also, if you're at a point where you're feeling like I need some support, and I may not be able to get it in the way that I need it from my community. Doesn't mean you have bad friends. No, you can have a very supportive community, but because they're your community, sometimes they're not as objective as you want them to be. So a
Okay.
therapist can come in and look at things from all different sides. And the way that we question and some of the modalities that we use can expose certain things. And then as it becomes, you become self-aware and it becomes actualized, then we can say, oh, this is what it sounds like you've been doing. So we highlight cycles and different things like that.
Okay. And you guys do a lot of listening too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I went to let's see, I don't want to put anybody in the spot, but in a relationship that I was in that I thought was going to be long term, we both decided that we needed to go to a relationship therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I was accused of being self-centered, which I'm like, wait, what? I do everything for you. Me. And he said, yes, but if we don't do things your way, you don't want to do it. And I didn't want to believe that. And it was the therapist that actually pointed out, she's like, you have what we call only child syndrome. I'm like, well, what's that? I'm like, I'm an only child, but my mama taught me how to mama. And she's just like, just hear me out. She's like, it's not uncommon, but a lot of only children, we don't know how to see things from another person's perspective. And we also get very, I'm doing it right now, actually, because you're supposed to be talking, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to help the people. Okay. We can be self-centered. We're not necessarily selfish, but we can be self-centered. So tell me, walk me through just like a first session for a couple or a partnership, whether they're, platonic or not. Walk me through a first session of someone or two people who came in thinking that this is it, this is it. We can't, it's insurmountable what we're going through. I'm done with her. I'm done with him.
Okay.
How would you handle that first session?
So after I'm done with all the admin stuff, meaning going over policies and procedures, different things like that, what they can expect from me and what I expect from them, I actually tell them, I'm like, I'm hearing what you're telling me. You came in, like, because usually I have a conversation with one person. And so I hear what one person is saying. And then I'm like, well, then what do you feel like is the problem? Because if you're telling me you're done, but you're here, then you're actually ready to fight for it. You just don't know how. And that's still encouraging. Because I always tell people, if you don't show up, then you're really done. But if you do show up, you're hurt, but you're still willing to put in the work. Okay. So then after we get that, and I'm like, okay, are they on the same page? If they aren't on the same page, I'm like, okay, well, there's a misunderstanding of what the real problem is. So now we've got to figure out the common ground. Then secondly, if it is on the same page, then we're like, okay, we have the, but do you have the wherewithal to know what the root cause is? Put that out there, right? But then I always have to ask them, tell me your love story. Tell me how you got together.
Okay.
Right? And then sometimes you see them like, oh, it's like a ray of sunshine comes across their face. So this feels really good the way you all got together. And then the other person will be like, well, I need to add this, and then I need to add that, right? And then you see them sometimes come together and they're just sitting over there laughing and cracking jokes together. And like, man, remember that? And I was just like, wow. So the friendship is still there too. Right? So then we're going in, because one of the things you want to pull out are the commonalities, where they have common ground, also how they still see each other in good ways, because sometimes we focus on everything that's bad, right? And that's the only thing that we want to talk about. But we fail to see all the good in it, right? Which can also feel like, when somebody says, what you doing tonight? And they're like, oh, Lord, this how they're going to start. This how they're going to start, because they want to go in, right? Because they build a story, because all they do is hear the negative part, right?
Okay.
Sometimes and I'll say not sometimes, but the majority of the time, they don't bring up what the person is doing right.
Okay.
So, I'm like, okay, well, you told me all these things that this person isn't doing. Tell me the stuff that they have been doing to make you feel loved, secured, seen, things like that. And sometimes it's like
nothing.
And I'm like, does that mean that they haven't been doing anything? or you've been focused on the bad so much that you can't even see any of the good parts.
Wow.
And so sometimes they've been like, it's been so long.
It's been so long.
Yeah.
Is it sometimes maybe people get together romantically anyway, and they were never really friends in the first place? Maybe they were all aesthetic and, you know, physical chemistry, but realized somewhere that we never were really friends. We were just lusting after each other.
Yes.
And then now it's worn off.
That happens a lot. And I'll say it like this. So you may find somebody who just got out of a relationship 2 days ago and they're back on a date. They're on a dating site. What have you learned?
Wow.
What have you learned? How have you healed? How are you preparing yourself not to relive the same events of the previous relationship? How are you preparing not to make somebody else pay for their mistakes, the other people's mistakes, right? So a lot of times they come in and they be like, oh, they look good and everything else. And so as I'm asking, and I'm like, okay, so like, for instance, they come in and they're like, well, you know, we kind of just met and we just thought we was just going to kick it. And I said, so neither one of y'all wanted anything real. But then you made something real out of something that wasn't supposed to be. So how does that work now? Because have you ever known a healthy relationship?
Wow.
And they're like, well, and this is what I get. Oh, my aunt and uncle, or, you know, I have a cousin, they've been with their boyfriend or they've been with their husband for 25 years. I'm like, okay, that's just years. What's healthy? They don't know.
Wow.
And a lot of times when I ask people like, well, who are you? They tell me all their titles, what they do for work, how many kids they have,
That
you know,
part.
how much money they make, you know, all these things. And I'm like, okay, so you told me the stuff, right? But who are you as a person? Tell me about you.
So what would be a sample response that you would expect to hear to that question?
I'm a loving person.
Okay.
That tries to do her best every day. I have a struggle with, you know, sometimes I am down on myself. However, these are the things that I do to make myself feel better, to encourage myself. I challenge myself to step out. I'm a lifelong learner. I like to have deep, stimulating conversations. You know, I like for people to look me in my eyes, and that makes me feel seen. That makes me feel cared for. And it's also a little anxiety provoking for me too, because so many people are just used to the aesthetic of me. Right. So then they say, you know, and I'm a daughter, that I struggle with being, you know, the youngest sibling, and, you know, different things like that. Character, qualities, not things. A private jet is not going to make your life better.
It's not. And I get, like I mentioned to you yesterday, I have the majority of my friends are male, platonic male friends. Just, I think that stems from my early childhood. I've always been kind of tomboyish, was never really a girly girl in the heel. I just wasn't. And so I tended to bond more so with boys and men. And so they tell me things that they don't often tell their significant others or even some of their other male friends. And they're saying, Shirley, and I'm speaking mostly men of color when I say my friends, they're telling me that a lot of Black women, or women of color, I should say, they find to be very bitter, very jaded, very angry, a lot of times unwarranted in their opinion. Like, I just met this person online and we go out on a date, Shirley, and she's just already just, you know, got the rest in, you know what phase. She's, like you just said, telling me about all her degrees and her accomplishments and, you know, but I never really get to know her as a person because, you know, I don't even want to date too sometimes, or I might just go, and these are some of my developed friends. They'll say, I just want what I want from her. And then after I get that, I'm done because I don't even want to know her as a person. What is that? Because I'm hearing that more and more, even from other women, that why are Black women, in your opinion, your humble opinion, this is not fact, you guys, why do you think that is? Because I've noticed it as well.
So, okay, that's a multi-layered thing, because we're talking about a lot of people who refuse to see their own faults, but also are emotionally immature. And also when we're talking about dealing with, so one of the things I specialize in my practice is inner child wounds.
Ooh, okay.
And the inner child wound is basically something happened, you know, from all your matriculation up. I mean, it could be from birth, it could be like 3 months old, and I'm 50. I can have a child, I could get a wound right now, right? But your emotional growth stops at that age where the wound, the hurt, the trauma happened, right? Even though your body physically progresses to the next, you know, phases of development, right?
Yeah.
So while you're saying you're a 35-year-old male, right? If a situation happens that mirrors or feels like your 5-year-old self is having a problem, your 5-year-old self wipes out the 35-year-old and you're 5 in that moment.
Wow. Okay.
And so a lot of times you're dealing with the coping skill that a 5-year-old had to develop to survive that moment. If you're not paying attention, you're going to think you're handling it as a functioning adult and everything else. And somebody's going to be like, you know, it's not like you had a whole temper tantrum over there. What you talking about? Do you know what I'm saying? And so it's those things. So we have to explore and really be self-aware of our pasts and what our body, because a lot of times, you know, we use a lot of cliche terms because unfortunately all these people have mics and they shouldn't. I'm saying that and I mean it. Okay. Yeah. All these people have mics and they shouldn't. They read a little bit of a book and then they sound so educated because of the way that they speak, right? That the masses are paying attention. And I've watched them. I have friends send me clips and they're like, this person, they say, I said, that term, the way that they're using it is not it. That is not the term. They actually mean this. And I said, all these people are now paying all this money to go see you.
Wow.
That's wrong. That's misleading. If I did that as a therapist, somebody could file a complaint in my ethics board, and I could lose my license.
Use your license.
What these people are doing, right? So when we don't face ourselves, and we're not constantly doing our own work, right? Checking ourselves and making sure, then we have these things, right? So what he's saying is basically, I want her to come full for me, lay it all out there, but I don't even want her. I just want her vagina. That's it.
Pretty much.
But I want her to be all about me as I get the only thing that I want from her and give her nothing of me. And I'm going to get mad I'm going to label her as angry, aggressive, and RBF because she's not going to cater to my needs as I willfully give her nothing. So then I'm going to find somebody else in another race because they're trained to cater to me. And then I'll make them the queen that I don't want to make her.
And it's almost like, and then we're going to take a quick break, but I said the same thing. And I said, a lot of times I feel like it is something that happened to them. And when they say, well, I only date, you know, outside of I only date Hispanic women, I only date white women or whatever, I almost feel like they're doing it as a slight. You want this Black woman or these Black women to see you with someone that is not Black, so that your inner child feels vindicated, or so that you feel like, okay, now I've overcome that, what I thought insurmountable obstacle was, and nah, you can't get, you know, and it's very immature. So we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back with the comment section.
Welcome to Millennium News 24, your trusted source for accurate, unbiased news. We're here to bring you the stories that matter most from America and around the world with integrity and a commitment to truth. In today's world, where misinformation can easily spread, having access to reliable news is more important than ever. At Millennium News 24, we aim to cut through the noise by delivering clear, fact-based reporting. Whether you're following major events or looking for in-depth analysis, we are here to serve you with transparency and respect for all communities regardless of color, wealth, or religion. This beautiful America was built by the resilience of its people, immigrants, entrepreneurs, doctors, and everyday individuals working together to create something great. It's this spirit that inspires us to provide you with news that's inclusive, honest, and relevant. We believe that informed citizens are the foundation of a strong society, and we strive to give you the knowledge you need to make a difference. From breaking news to insightful features, we bring you comprehensive coverage on politics, economics, health, culture, and much more. We believe that everyone deserves access to the truth, and we are proud to be a part of a global network that connects people through information. Stay informed by following us on your devices, including iOS, Android, Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, and Smart TVS. And for global access, we're also available on Horizon Satellite. Visit us at www.millenniumtv24.com or www.millenniumnews24.com to stay updated at Millennium News 24. Our mission is to promote unity, understanding, and progress in a rapidly changing world. Join us as we work to inspire positive action through the power of truth. Thank you for watching. Follow us, subscribe, and stay informed.
Okay, we are back. Comment section with Miss, I want to call her Dr. Soba. I'm going to call you Dr. One. I'm putting that in the universe. Miss Darnita D. Samuels, licensed marriage and family therapist. Okay.
Thank you.
With what we were talking about, we were talking about this whole inner child situation and how it can sometimes lead to emotional immaturity for both men and women. Women, we are not innocent in this. We can't keep blaming men for everything. But one thing that I do find is, and maybe you can help me out with this, is when I try to come to someone that I'm dating or in a romantic relationship with, I try to calmly point things out that are problematic for me or that disturb my peace. I try to point out what it is they're doing to make me feel that way. And I even apologize sometimes ahead of time for things that I know I can often do that might be obnoxious to some people. And when I do that, instead of saying, well, thank you for that, or thank you for sharing, or just listening and processing what I'm saying, most men, they take it as an offense. They don't know how to have just like a heated debate or a nice heated conversation. They take it as, oh, you're attacking me, and they immediately want to attack you back. What is that, and why do people have that response more often than not?
Well, it's because a lot of times what happens is that's the part of being emotionally immature, not being able to take the feedback, right?
Okay.
So here's the thing, and it's real nuanced in there, because sometimes if the only thing you ever tell them is everything they're doing wrong, then defensively they're like, well, what have I ever done right? But then also, if that is something that they are used to from everyone in their history, then it's just like, okay, I got to go to the wall because my back is there and I got to push.
Okay.
So, it's a whole thing that can happen. Additionally, because we don't like it, and if we can't take accountabilities for our thoughts, words, deeds, and actions, then of course we're going to deflect. And it can be as nice as you want it to be. A lot of times we don't know how to deal with conflict either. So sometimes you hear, I've run the gamut. So sometimes people don't argue in front of their kids, or people come to my office and they're like, well, I never saw my parents argue. Or it's the extreme opposite, where it was a knockdown, drag out fight, right? And people were going to the hospital. So it's like, any danger, any signs of conflict, I'm heading. I'm shutting down. I'm Or okay.
Interesting.
Or it sounds like I'm tiptoeing around because I'm trying to find a landing space that I feel is going to be soft enough for the potential that I'm about to go into, because all I have seen is. So I tell people, it is healthy to have a disagreement. Notice I didn't say an argument.
Exactly.
It's healthy to have a disagreement in front of children, and let them see you work it out, because that becomes the example of what they do. Yes.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. And conflict is normal. Okay? And conflict is normal.
One time for the people in the cheap seats, conflict is normal. You're not going to agree on everything. That's not even humanly possible.
It's not possible.
Agree on every single thing.
If you're agreeing on everything, I caution you to really think about the status of your relationship. Is it really real? or are you just placating and people pleasing each other? And is it very surface? Because if you just be like, oh, okay, yeah, and that's it, and that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very concerned. So the thing is, we need to learn these things. So when people can't take the feedback, then it immediately becomes that thing where it's like, now we got to tussle.
Yeah.
And what most likely happened is, oh, well, then I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Then a couple hours, days, a couple weeks, then come back like, oh, hey, big head, how you doing? You want to go to lunch today? And a lot of people are like, you know what? Yeah. Thinking like, okay. And then you just pick up and keep going. And there is the residual dust that has never been resolved or swept out of the house. And all it's going to do is keep growing.
It's going to keep growing. I love that. I love that. I love that. And that's leading me to my next question, which is, in order to work with you as a therapist, you require that people have the same Christian faith you have, and if they don't, do you try to coerce them into Christianity?
Absolutely not. So going back to your question, your previous question, is this something that I love, or is this a God-given divine thing? Yes, it's all of the above.
Okay.
I was not supposed to be a therapist. I wasn't supposed to be. Listen, if you had told me 25 years ago that I was going to be a therapist, I would have laughed in your face, because I was in school for computer science. I thought I was going to just go program, put me in the back of the room, pay me a lot of money,
Make my money,
and I'm going to have a great house, and I'm going to travel the world. That's what I thought. But God has plans, and he has jokes. And that's how I became a therapist. Okay. So I am a Christian. I'm a practicing Christian. I don't just identify as a Christian. However, I do not enforce my Christian beliefs on anybody. There are some people who come to me because I am specifically a Christian, and they're like, Darnita, we really want to work with you because you're a Christian and we have Christian values, and we want to sometimes, you're like, so, and I asked them, I said, how deep do we want to go? Because I work with ministers and pastors all the way down. And I work with a gamut of people. So people who are serving in ministry, some people who are new to the faith, different things like that. But I also work with people who are Muslim, Zoroastrian, Buddhist, agnostic, atheist. I work with, I haven't had a Satanist come in my office. I don't think I have anyway. But I mean, I don't think, you know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. I can't discriminate, and I definitely don't enforce my beliefs on anybody, because that is not therapeutic. That's now bordering on no, that's not bordering. That is going over the line of ethics violation.
It is. It is.
And so what I do is, even if I'm asking, I'm like, okay, well, you identify, you're bringing up your faith in this aspect. What are the tenets of your faith telling you about the choices and decisions that you should be making here? And some people will rattle them off. And I'm like, well, if you told me that you did this in the past, that doesn't match up with this. If you told me you did this in the past, okay, that does align with that. How can we explore that a little bit more? And then what draws you away from this tenet of faith, and what draws you to that tenet of faith? Right?
I love that. And I think it's a good idea. But like she said, whatever faith, or even if you don't have one or you're unsure, you should still have some type of code of ethics or some type of core values, 3 or 4 non-negotiables for whatever relationship you plan to enter. And that goes for friendships too, which is going to be my next question. But to me, when you're in the dating stages, you're dating to see if this is going to be a good match for me or not. And this is specifically to our gentlemen that are watching. Like she said, instead of dating for the V, according to my religion, which is Christianity as well, you are dating to find a wife. You're dating to find a wife. That's what my Christian faith tells me. It doesn't mean that you can't go out and enjoy the company of women. But if you are seriously dating someone, that means you're trying to see, is this someone that I would want to make my wife based on my Christian values? That's just what I believe. So would you say that I'm right in that thinking? Because if you're doing it the right way, you're not having sex before you're married anyway. In my religion, I can't speak for anybody else's. Is that right to approach it that way or no?
I think, okay, so when you're saying dating versus following the tenets of your faith, right? Let's be very clear. In early Christianity, they didn't date. They got put together and they got married.
That's it, yeah.
Right? Now, is it against the Bible's doctrine that you should not have sex before you're married? Yes, it is. Okay, let's be very clear. But then also, say, because it's so subtle and nuanced. You're gonna hear this word all the time, nuance, because I have a definition of dating, you have a definition of dating, right? And somebody else can have a definition of dating. So it's pertinent that we get clear on how we're utilizing these terms, right? So I might if I'm dating someone, then it's like, oh, then I can meet somebody for coffee, I can meet somebody for lunch, and I can have a dinner date. Now, and that's the 3 different people. Okay, 3 different people.
Absolutely.
Now, if I am intentionally seeking a husband, right, and I'm looking for someone who's going to court me, that's a different situation for me. Now, other people might say, like, listen, I only date one person at a time. That means the minute you connect with that person, and however you choose, is if it's at the point of making a connection or making that statement to say, I only want to date one person at a time, so because I can't keep up with all that, I mean, which is fine. Then the other person needs to agree. If they don't agree, then can the other person accept that, understanding they're going to be one of many? Doesn't mean that there's going to be one of many and this person is going to be sleeping around. No, it doesn't mean they're going to be sleeping around. It just means that there's other people on the field, and so you're going to have to, basically just be you, and see if the person really wants to come with you, where if you now all put your eggs in one basket with this person and being truthful and transparent, they've said, well, I do like you, I find you attractive, we had great conversation. I am not ready to say, hey, my roster is gone. I'm not ready to say that. Now, if you can accept that, we can continue to get to know each other and evolve. I've even told people, I've heard people say, I am communicating with about 3 or 4 people. However, this is what I found very interesting about you that I haven't found in them. Right? Can you accept it? Can you not? But I think you also have to know exactly what you really want, because some people say, I want a wife or I want a husband. Do you understand what wife and husband means? And it's not somebody to look good on social media with.
Talk about it.
It is not. Okay? A wife and husband, I'm going to tell you, my cousin got married 19 and a half years ago. And when he told me that he went to premarital counseling and they asked him, are you ready to die every day? He was like, die? What you mean?
Oh my.
Are you planning to kill me? And she just looked at me like, what are you saying? Right? And they said, no. Are you willing to kill your own wants, needs, and desires every day for the betterment of something and someone else? Wow. Every day.
Every day.
And he was like, if you got to think about it, then you're not ready to get married.
You're not ready.
And people don't ask the right questions. We're so focused on these cliche terms of, what's your love language?
I have several. I even in real life, I speak English, but I also speak German. So I have several.
And then when people sit there and say, well, mine is physical touch, I'm like, well, then you really don't know, because everybody has 5. They just rank.
They rank them. Did you read
what I'm saying? And that part, or it's the thing of, if I hear one or more of these cheesecake conversations, I'm going to pass out. Okay? Because you're worried about the wrong thing. If you're so focused on what you think somebody is trying to take advantage of you, then you're not really you're not ready to date.
Not ready.
Because let's be very clear, when you get your standards up, those people fall off anyway. Okay?
They do.
That's a non-factor. You get what I'm saying? It becomes such a distraction from taking you where you want to be. But if you want to stay there, and that's where you want to be, then guess what? That's what you're going to have people meet you.
Wow.
There's so many more factors. You see what I'm saying? Like, what is your health history like? And here's the thing that so many people feel so very uncomfortable. And when I ask them, I mean it with the utmost sincerity.
How many partners?
No. What is your family's mental health history?
Ooh, baby. Yes, God. It's a conversation.
I have had so many friends date people, and I have met these people, and I'm like, friend, come here.
Let me holler at you for a minute.
Because if I can't get this, I'm literally sending a message like, did you ask them about their mental health history?
Ooh,
And they're like, no. And I'm like,
Maybe you should.
you should ask them. Because I was like, honey, I'm feeling bipolar symptoms up in here.
Ooh.
And all I'm saying is, and that's no slight against somebody who battles a mental health issue. Because let's be very clear, there are some people out here who manage mental health issues stellarly.
Yes, they do.
That's the one you want. But the ones who are unmanaged, okay? I mean, and I'm talking about even unmanaged anxiety, unmanaged depression, different things like that. That could be a trigger, and that could spiral people, right? And if you're going to be in their lives and you're going to say, I choose you every day, because love is not that Cupid thing. It's not that Eros love. That's that fleeting love where you're always looking for the butterflies and the chemistry.
Yep.
You better be careful, because that could be a familiar spirit that you always attracted and you've been trying to get away from.
That's right.
However, that's another conversation.
We gotta have a part 2, because that familiar spirit conversation, that's something else.
And that can be deadly.
Oh, baby, it can be deadly, because just like you have angels and positive, meaningful spirits, you also have demonic spirits that follow you too. So they know what your triggers are. They know what you like.
They have watched and studied you. Those
study
monitoring
you.
spirits. Yes, they will. Okay.
They study you. And
so
that just giving me shivers, because I had someone tell me that he was we never dated, but he was in a long-term relationship with someone he thought he was going to marry, and he found out that she was bipolar. And he said she looked like Beyonce. Shirley, she had the body, she had the career, she had no kid, beautiful. And he said one day she just completely flipped out, and he asked her brother, like, what's up? Is she going through something? He's like, my sister's bipolar. Like, she didn't tell you? And he's like, no. So he had to deal with that for all those years. And he just said, I just couldn't take it anymore, because she wouldn't take the medication.
Do you see what I'm saying? And so that's the thing. I used to do assessments in the emergency room sometimes, and people would have episodes, whether it was schizophrenic, bipolar, schizotypal, all different, even borderline personality, all those things, histrionic personality disorders. They had episodes, and they would be in there with their partner, and I would have to interview their partner. And I'm like, what has this been like for you?
Wow.
And some people are like, well, this is kind of normal for me, because this also runs in my family. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, you already know, you have a basis, and you have, the other ones are like, I am unsure, but I love this person, and I see them for who they are, and I want to learn. And I'm like, okay, well, let's get you connected to support groups and, different things like that. Right. And then other times people are like, I didn't know what happened, and I am traumatized now. Right. Wow. And so that's why you have to be truthful and transparent, because, and I hate to say it, he probably got caught up in the aesthetic. This woman is so fine. And everybody was like, man, you better keep her.
He thought they were going to get married. He thought they were going to get married. And he's just like, I just can't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. If you won't take the medication and do what, because he had his own issues. So it wasn't like he was judging, but she just wouldn't comply. And the doctor was like, then this is what you're dealing with.
Exactly. And that's the thing. And a lot of times people with a bipolar diagnosis and sometimes with schizophrenia, that once they start to feel better, like, oh, I don't have to take the medicine. Yes, you do. Because you want to continue. You want to continue to feel better. And that's the thing. And so when you're dealing with, and I can't say dealing with, because I don't want to make it a derogatory. That sounds very derogatory to me. So I apologize if I offended anyone with that term. If you're choosing to love a person who's dealing with any mental health diagnosis, then you have to get an understanding, especially when you're dealing with somebody with depression. Like, oh, just snap out of it. Your life is great.
Can't do that.
And that's exactly when people get depressed. It's like their life is great. It's wonderful. There's no issues. And then all of a sudden, I'm just not feeling right. And it's not that thinking I'm getting out of bed, I can't get out of bed, or I'm crying all the time. That tells you to have emotional outbursts. Okay. But a lot of times these people are going to work, they're operating businesses, they're traveling, having great fun with their friends, they're going to games and everything else. Yep. But the light is just dim. And all the things that used to give them warmth, they're feeling very cold.
Yeah. It's a thing.
It is a whole thing.
And we're almost out of time. This is such an invigorating conversation, because a lot of people need to hear this, especially our women and Black, purple, yellow, green. As we get older, ladies, our body goes through another metamorphosis. We had the whole puberty situation from age, 9 through whatever, 14. 14, 15.
Yeah.
Perimenopause and menopause is a thing, and people are really sick of me talking about it, but I'm going to say it's 10 times worse than puberty because it causes mental health issues that don't go away if you don't address it. Okay. So we are going to do a part 2 to this conversation, but I did want to tackle this question before we run out of time. I got like 1 minute. I had someone say that she has a group of friends who she's been friends with for over 40 years. And she says she no longer feels connected to them. She says the things that they're interested in are kind of immature to her and very just, they don't inspire her. She wants to talk more about entrepreneurship and financial literacy. She doesn't want to go hang out and drink and, smoke weed, hookah and all that. And she says, is she wrong for wanting to just pull the plug on it, or should she try to have some type of a therapeutic session with them? I think it's 3 of them, where they can come to a happy medium, because she doesn't want to let go of like a golden girl situation where these are really my true sisters almost, and I'm being the one that's not being reasonable. What should she do? Because her spirit is just not there anymore.
Well, and I can empathize because I went through a situation like that with a group of friends. And I'll say it like this: no, you're not wrong for feeling that way. You've elevated, right? It doesn't mean that they can't be there for you. It just means that potentially that they can't be there in the way that you need them now. So if there's somebody that you could just let your hair down and let it all hang out with and everything else, then that's that group of friends, right? But if you're talking about entrepreneurship, elevation, and everything else, then you have to get another set or another community is what I like to call it. Because in our age, we got to get another community. It doesn't mean that you can't be around them unless it's just like really like you're going in and you're like, this is just not feeding my soul. Even our conversations and our interactions are not feeding my soul. I would recommend having a conversation with them, because sometimes we pull the plug and people are like, I don't know what happened. And it's a whole grief process that happens when a relationship like that ends. Okay.
It's a grieving process.
It is. And I know people always want to say the 5 stages of grief is actually 7. Okay. And so have the conversation with them. Be the mature person that you are. Have the conversation with them. And let them say, well, girl, we only been doing this because we've been wanting to do this too, but nobody ever brought it up.
Oh, wow.
Okay, let's elevate. Let's brainstorm. Let's get this thing popping, because guess what?
Elevate.
We are, we got some other things that we're trying to accomplish out here. Let's have goal setting get-ups, different things like that. Let's meet on a consistent basis to iron out and have a think tank about the things that we want to do to stimulate our ideas. Or sometimes let's just have a sister support day where it's just like, oh Lord, this doggone entrepreneur journey, it's killing me. And I don't know what to do. And people are like, girl, okay, let's get it out. Okay. Boom.
In the words of the great philosopher Jermaine Jackson, Michael Jackson's brother, don't take it personal. It's not always about you.
It's not.
People have the right to feel how they feel. Stop taking it personal. And before we get kicked out of this network, please tell these people, these wonderful people on 7 continents, where can they buy this book and where can they find you on social media?
Okay, you can buy my book on Amazon. It is there. It's hard copy. It's also a Kindle. I will be recording audiobook pretty soon, probably next year. And you can find me on social media. On IG, I'm Agape Healing and Wellness Center. And then also I'm Darnita Samuels. And so you can find me on Facebook under the same names as well.
And you can always inbox me. I will get you the information you need. Stop asking for hookups. Okay. She is a therapist and she has bills. So don't be asking me for no free sessions. Okay. But thank you guys so much for logging in or tuning in, whether you are on Roku or Apple, wherever you are. We appreciate you. And we hope that you have a blessed week. And thank you for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
See you next week, guys. Appreciate you. All right. Talk to you soon, friend.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.